What is going on, everyone? Welcome back in to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, and today in this video I'm going to talk about 10 college basketball teams from power conferences who have the largest NCAA tournament droughts. So the conferences that these teams have to be a part of are the Power 5 conferences, and there's 5 of them: the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the SEC. Also, they can be from the Big East as well. I did not list any teams from the American Conference since the American is right below the Power 5 in the Big East. But with that being said, I'm going to take it away here, starting at number 1 with a team with the largest tournament drought out of any major conference team, and that is the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. It's been 28 years since Rutgers last returned to the NCAA Tournament. That was back in 1991, as Rutgers has finished dead last in the Big Ten in the last 4 out of 5 years. The last time that Rutgers finished with a winning record, you have to go all the way back to 2006 when they last made the NIT. The number 2 team here with the longest tournament drought goes to the DePaul Blue Demons. DePaul hasn't been to the tournament since 2004, the year they finished first in Conference USA play. In 2005, DePaul moved to the Big East Conference, where they basically struggled ever since, finishing last in 9 out of their 14 seasons that they've been part of the Big East Conference. The number 3 team with the largest tournament drought goes to the Washington State Cougars. Washington State hasn't made a tournament since 2008. In the 2008 tournament, Washington State was a number 4 seed and lost to the semifinalists, the North Carolina Tar Heels, in the Sweet 16. For the last 7 seasons, Washington State has ended up with losing records out of the past 7 seasons. The number 4 team with the largest tournament drought goes to the Boston College Eagles. It's been 10 years since the last time BC made it into the Big Dance back in 2009. The Eagles had a noticeable win at home against number 1 ranked Duke in Chestnut Hill back on December 9th, 2017, but they've only put together 2 winning seasons in the past decade for BC. The number 5 team with the largest tournament drought goes to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. The last time that Georgia Tech has gone to the Big Dance was back in 2010. In 2004, Georgia Tech put together an incredible tournament run, ending up in the national title game but losing to UConn. In the early 2000s, Georgia Tech finished 5th or better in ACC play from 2001 to 2005. From 2011 to 2019, however, the best finish that Georgia Tech had in ACC play was tied for 9th, with a 6-12 conference record and a 16-15 overall record. However, Georgia Tech did post 2 21-win seasons in 2016 and 2017. However, they finished 11th in ACC play those 2 seasons. The number 6 team with the largest tournament drought goes to the Penn State Nittany Lions, as the Penn State basketball team has basically been in the shadow of the football team for decades now. Penn State's last tournament appearance was in 2011, as Penn State has only made 3 NCAA tournament appearances in the past 23 seasons. Penn State, however, did win a tournament in 2018, but it was the lower tournament, the NIT. The number 7 team with the largest tournament drought goes to the Illinois Fighting Illini. Illinois has not been to the tournament since 2013, a decade before their last tournament appearance, where Illinois, a decade before that in 2003, was basically a powerhouse who went to 8 straight NCAA tournaments from 2000 to 2007. Illinois was also the Big Ten tournament champions back in 2003 and 2005. Illinois went all the way to the Sweet 16 in the early 2000s twice, in 02 and 04. They went to the Elite 8 in 01. And also they went all the way to the 2005 NCAA title game, but lost to North Carolina in that title game. But that year, the 2004 into the 2005 season, Illinois finished that season with a record of 37-2. The number 8 team with the largest tournament drought goes to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska hasn't been to the tournament since 2014, as Nebraska hopes to get back to the tournament for the first time in 5 years, as their hopes were looking like that for this year, as it started out on a high note, going from 2018 to 2019. Nebraska this past season went 11-2 in 2018 before New Year's in 2019. But then Nebraska, that's where they dropped in conference play. They were ranked as high as number 24 in the AP Top 25 in early January 2019. However, that 6-14 Big Ten record dampened Nebraska's tournament hopes for the 2019 tournament. They started out really strong to the year, but couldn't finish it. And we'll see if Nebraska can get there in 2020. The number 9 team with the largest tournament drought goes to the Stanford Cardinal. Stanford's last tournament appearance was back in 2014, where they lost to the Dayton Flyers in the Sweet 16. Stanford's the only team on this list that has ever won a national title in college basketball, but you have to go all the way back to 1942, when the last time and the only time that Stanford got the title. As this is the case with Illinois, Stanford was also a national powerhouse in the late 1990s and early 2000s, as they were with head coach Mike Montgomery. As the time, Mike Montgomery took Stanford to 10 straight NCAA tournament appearances from 1995 to 2004. Stanford made it to the Elite Eight as well in 2001. They posted a 31-3 record that year, and they also made it to the Final Four in 1998 with a record of 30-5. And the last team on my list, the number 10 team with the largest tournament drought, goes to the Georgia Bulldogs. As the last tournament appearance for Georgia, you have to go back to 2015, as this upcoming season for 2019 into 2020 should really be an interesting one for head coach Tom Crean's squad. As Georgia came off this past season with a record of 11-21, but Crean's track record is pretty good, as his track record as head coach includes a Final Four appearance with the Marquette Golden Eagles back in 2003 and 3 Sweet 16 appearances with the Indiana Hoosiers in 2012, 2013, and 2016. Georgia brings in a top 10 recruiting class for the fall of 2019. One of those players is Anthony Edwards, who's a shooting guard from Atlanta, Georgia, who's ranked as number 5 in the ESPN Top 100 for 2019. So Georgia could possibly be like the most improved team from 2019 to 2020. But yeah, that's basically it. So that's a wrap of the 10 major college basketball teams that have the longest and NCAA tournament droughts. One of these honorable mentions goes to the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, who made it to the NCAA tournament in 2017. Wake Forest did, but they made it to the first 4, which didn't exist before 2011. So Wake Forest made it to the first 4, where they lost to Kansas State. And the last time that Wake Forest has made it to the field of 64 was back in 2010, 1 year prior to the first 4 playing games were introduced in the 2011 tournament. But before you go, make sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe as well, comment if you like. Down below in my video, I should be back with play-by-play. The next stream for the NBA playoffs will take place most likely for my channel on Friday, April 19th. I'll be back with play-by-play NBA action here on Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, as this has been another video presentation of Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. The 10 college basketball major conference teams with the longest NCAA tournament droughts. And before you go, like, share, subscribe to my channel.